to No Guilt, Just Growth. I'm Kristen Pomper, wife, coach, and corporate working mom of two. I help ambitious working moms stop running on empty and start building lives they're obsessed with, without the guilt or burnout. I'm on a mission to redefine what success looks like for moms. Because one thing I know for sure, it's not about putting everyone else's needs above your own. If you're ready to stop surviving and start thriving, you're in the right place. Hi, gal. Welcome back. Okay, before we get started on the actual episode, can I just be completely honest with you about something? This has been heavy on my heart, and I just feel like I need to get it off my chest. I've been feeling like a complete failure this week. I literally melted down with my therapist earlier, cried for 30 minutes straight. I just feel completely at capacity, like I'm dropping balls, and it's so frustrating. My brain feels maxed out. I have zero cognitive bandwidth for anything that isn't right in front of me. And I think part of why I'm feeling this way is that this past weekend was Bobby's birthday and our wedding anniversary. I found myself at the store Thursday afternoon, scrambling for cards and gifts, ultimately just grabbing a gift card because of my lack of planning ahead. It's not like I didn't know that this weekend was coming. We were heading out on a little trip for a long weekend, so I knew it was coming. I just did not prioritize getting a gift. And he even saw me take the card with me while I went to go get coffee, literally the morning of his birthday, so that I could write in the card. It just felt so impersonal. And I just feel so frustrated with myself because I feel like I have told myself this in the past, whether it was another birthday or maybe it was probably Valentine's Day, to be honest. And what I was telling my therapist is I don't have this uniquely hard life. I'm a working mom. I just happen to work outside of the house. I've got a full plate like any of you do, managing schedules, chores, meals, lists, nothing out of the ordinary that you don't have on your plate too. And somehow I just still feel guilty for not prioritizing the things that are important to me, like celebrating the people I love in a meaningful way. Anyways, that has been heavy on my heart this week. I wanted to be honest and share that with you because if you are listening, you are one of my ride or die ladies. And I can imagine that some of you feel this way too. So sometimes I feel like it's just comforting knowing that we're not alone. Okay, that was it. I digress. Let's dive into today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've ever felt like you completely lost yourself in the midst of motherhood, like you barely even recognize yourself anymore, or if you spend most days wondering if you'll ever feel like yourself again, first off, I want you to know that you are not alone. I have been there. I see you. I've felt that overwhelm, that frustration, that deep longing to just feel like my old self again. And here is the truth that I wish someone had told me sooner. Losing yourself isn't what's actually happening. That old self is not disappearing. You're evolving. You're not supposed to fit into the old version of yourself. Motherhood changes you in the best way. So that's why today we're discussing why feeling lost in motherhood is actually growth, not failure. How to reclaim your identity and make space for this new version of yourself. Reframing the exhaustion and overwhelm you may be feeling so they don't define you. And letting go of old beliefs and intentionally creating the version of you that you want to be. I figured I'd start off with a story of my own. When I returned from mat leave with Grady, I thought I was ready. After all, this wasn't my first rodeo. I expected to jump right back into the person I was before him. I think because when I came back from mat leave with Liv, I felt like I did a pretty good job of maintaining the same standards that I had before her. I think the identity loss that I had with Liv was more so my kind of insecurity and just feeling like I was a mom. I just felt like my only role was mom. I wasn't Kristen, the badass salesperson or the corporate leader or Bobby's wife. I was just mom. I've opened up a little bit about this in previous episodes. So I think when I came back from her, I really dove back in head first. And looking back on it, I don't know if that was the right choice, but I do feel like I kind of snapped right back into who I was pre Olivia. So now, fast forward, when I returned from mat leave with Grady, I thought I was ready and I was expecting to jump right back in like I had before. And that just didn't happen. It was literally the complete opposite. The brain fog, the forgetfulness, the overwhelm from even the simplest tasks. I didn't expect it. I would sit at my laptop, stare at the screen, or open my inbox and feel completely buried. I was so frustrated and disappointed when my expectations didn't line up. I kept comparing myself to the version of me before kids, the one who crushed deadlines, remembered everything, had all the energy. So when I couldn't keep up with that same pace, I didn't just feel behind, I felt like I was failing. But the truth was, I had more responsibilities, more stress, more mental load, and I kept measuring myself to previous standards. And that's when I realized it's not fair to expect myself to be someone I'm no longer. I'm not supposed to be her anymore. And I wish I would have realized this sooner. You don't lose yourself in motherhood. You reinvent yourself. Motherhood doesn't break you. It rebuilds you. It's not that you're less capable. You're more human, more discerning, more grounded. You're carrying more emotional weight, making more decisions in a day than most people make in a week, juggling roles as a mom, a professional, a partner, an individual. Your plate is so much fuller. Your life has new demands. So, yeah, things should feel harder, but that's not regression. That's growth. As soon as I shed the mindset that I was losing myself and reframed it as growth, as expansion, everything changed. You're growing into a newer, bigger, and better version of yourself. And you get to choose what stays and what goes. It doesn't mean you're giving up on who you were before. It means that you're reprioritizing, you're redesigning yourself for this new phase of life because motherhood, it exposes the parts of you that no longer fit, but it also highlights the parts that are thriving, waiting to be rediscovered. All those times I said, I've completely lost myself. What I realized I was saying was, I'm exhausted. I'm overwhelmed. I feel disconnected. I'm drowning in stress, anxiety. I feel depleted. And all those feelings, they're valid. You're allowed to feel them. In fact, you're meant to feel them, and they don't define your reality. You get to decide how to respond to them. That's where most moms get stuck. They let the feelings dictate their actions. They spiral into victim mentality or compare themselves to other moms, or even worse, surround themselves with similar minded moms that allow them to stay stuck because misery loves company. But, sister, I respect you too much to let you sulk in that misery. You are the one that gets to decide what you do about those feelings. You decide what you say about them, how you talk about them. You decide what your mentality is around them. So here's where I would start. First, I just want you to recognize your feelings are valid, but they don't dictate your actions. Feeling overwhelmed or disconnected, it's normal. It doesn't mean you're failed. Acknowledge the feelings, allow yourself to feel them, but then ask yourself, who am I beyond my role as a mom? What types of things was I doing before being a mom that I've now stopped doing? What lights me up? What activities make time disappear? What makes me feel like a priority in my own life? What can I do to feel like me again? Once you've answered, it's time to create space in your life for those things. Redesign your routines, whether that be on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Motherhood is a season. Just like starting a new job or a busy project, you shift your priorities temporarily, then reincorporate the things that matter most back into your life. Schedule them, protect them, treat them like non-negotiables. In order to do that, you'll likely need to ask for support where you need it, from your spouse, family, friends, or hired help. This isn't selfish, it's strategic. It allows you to show up fully for yourself, your marriage, and your kids. Next, I want you to release old narratives. Maybe you've held on to beliefs that no longer serve you. Something like, I have to be perfect, or being busy is a badge of honor, or I can only be a good mom if I self-sacrifice. Motherhood exposes those beliefs, but now you get to decide which to keep and which to release. Lastly, redefine your identity intentionally. This isn't about going back to who you were before kids. You get to create the woman you want to be now. Maybe you want to be more assertive. Maybe you say no more. Maybe you protect your energy fiercely. That's growth. That's not loss. If you're stuck in that comparison mode right now, comparing yourself to who you were before your kids, here are 3 ways to shift that mindset today. Number 1, I want you to stop measuring backwards. Your pre-kid self isn't your benchmark. You're in a different season with different priorities, different responsibilities. Start measuring progress based on who you want to become. Number 2, create new standards. Instead of, I used to do XYZ, ask what matters most to me now. Maybe that's being fully present with your kids at dinner, or doing 1 focused hour of work instead of 8 scattered ones. And then lastly, give yourself some grace. Something like, I'm allowed to evolve. I'm not supposed to be who I once was. Let that truth become your daily reminder when the old voice creeps in. I'd encourage you to take a piece of paper or maybe pull out your phone, take out your notes app, and write down 3 things that make you feel alive and like yourself. 2 ways you can incorporate them this week. 1 person or support system that can help you make it happen. These small, consistent choices compound into reclaiming your identity, confidence, and joy. Exhaustion, overwhelm, and depletion are feelings, not facts, and they don't define you. You are more than entitled to feel them, but you also get to decide how to act on them. Motherhood is not taking you away from yourself. It's giving you the chance to expand, evolve, and intentionally create the person that you want to be. You're not losing yourself. You're gaining a newer, wiser, more resilient version of you. I know it's scary to feel like you've lost yourself, but here's the truth. You haven't. Motherhood is teaching you, it's challenging you, and giving you the space to intentionally redesign who you are. You literally get to reinvent yourself, to create the life and identity that you truly want. You are more than your exhaustion. You are more than your to-do list. You are more than what's expected of you. You get to create yourself fully and intentionally in this season. Start small, honor your priorities, ask for support, reframe your mindset, give yourself grace. Watch how the new expanded version of you begins to thrive. If this episode resonated with you, share it with another mom who might be feeling like she's lost herself. Subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss future episodes. And remember that you can grow, thrive, and still be yourself. You are not lost. You're expanding. Have an incredible week, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.